Ah, DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid. If you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices. We'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands. Or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Check it out now.
The numbers told the story, they always do. It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning, too. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM channel 158. It's Gill Alexander. That right there. It's my little buddy Kelley Bydlon, everybody.
Hey, yo, how we doing?
Producer number 9. So much more than a producer. What's happening?
Not much. Fun sports weekend. I'm exhausted. I don't know about you.
Americans gave it a run in the Ryder Cup. All for naught.
Yeah, that somehow turned into a thing to watch yesterday.
I was thinking about your -3.5 didn't get home. That was a bit of an upset.
Everything else was a winner, though, so I'll take it.
There you go.
And it became fun. Shane Lowry's celebration was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So
football. It is a Guessing Lines Monday, by the way, for week number 5 in the National Football League. For those who are new to this is what we do on Monday. I'm in the cocoon with lines. I don't know them. We go through yesterday's games. I guess them. Kelley tells me what they are. Within that process, we try to extract some value. Here is my football weekend. Survivor, great.
Yep.
5 of 6 through with a 6 penny tonight.
Mine was very similar to last weekend, so I'm interested to see where you're going.
Megapod, fine.
Yep.
2-1 on my best bets. Megapod, got lucky, but 2-1 nonetheless. And then my Guessing Lines performance from a week ago, to quote the great American philosopher Cam Ward, keeping it a buck, I was booty hole. That's what I was. By the way, in trying to avoid what he said, did I make it worse by going with that first?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine, buddy. You're fine. Okay. This is, it was an ugly, it was another bad week. I don't think anything will be as bad as week 3, betting-wise, but yeah, millions pre-game sides, all that stuff was not great this week either.
If you treaded water in millions, you're doing great week 4 through 4 weeks.
What did I see Tooley tweet out? It's 25%, I think, of the 5 most selected sides each week have actually gotten home.
Jeez.
That's where we're at through 4 weeks.
It's amazing. As always, we like to update Circa Survivor first, just as a sort of reflection of what's going on out there. What's interesting is, as hard as ATS has been, we are still in the 6-year history of Circa Survivor anyway, we are still on a historically low pace in terms of eliminations. I don't want to hear anybody saying carnage. Like, let's not use that word. It was used enough in the... Thanks, B. Thanks, Kelley. Thanks, Michelle. The thing is, it has not been that way. Thus... Yeah, Kelley without the EY.
Yeah.
So again, now we have 2 games left. Obviously tonight, Monday Night Football, Dolphins, Jets, Broncos, and the Bengals. And specifically when it comes to the Broncos, which is where my 6th Survivor entry is. If that were to lose, then we would not have the record low through 4 weeks of Circa Survivor. But as it stands right now, we are, what are we, 33.72%. Is this the correct numbers we have up here? Yeah, these are not the correct numbers. Maybe I sent the wrong one here. 33.72% is where we are through 4 weeks. Last year was actually 96.64% out. That's the all-time record that will probably never get broken. 2021. What that should say there is 42.82% knocked out through 4 weeks of Circa Survivor. So right now it's 33.72%, 2 games pending. 2021, the standard low, or the historic low through 4 weeks, was 42.82% through 4 weeks. Think about that. That's the low all time through 4 weeks. 42.82% of all Circa Survivor entries. If the Broncos were to lose tonight, we would actually exceed that number. But if the Broncos win tonight, then this is the historic low, 33.72%. There's some stray numbers on the other teams, but no matter what the other outcomes tonight, this will be the low through 4 weeks. So this is, don't use the word carnage. It's been the opposite of that. 1/3 of the pool is out, and through 4 weeks, in the 6-week history of Survivor anyway, that has never even, we've never come close to that low of a number. through 4 weeks. So there you go. That's how it's been in Survivor with 12,000 plus entries still. There it is. There you go. There are the real numbers I'm looking for. 12,406 entries still left in Circa Survivor heading into tonight, which is more entries than started every other Survivor except last year's. Let's put it that way. Put it in context. That's
why I was actually surprised it was as bloody as it was yesterday in Survivor.
The big losers, again, those who had the Chargers. That's the other thing. Our Survivor segments that we do on Tuesday have been pitch perfect so far. Eliminating the ones you're scared of, going with the ones the group from which I will take Circa Survivors. That's been 100% so far. Chargers entries were the big loser yesterday, and then the Packers in the tie with the Cowboys last night, the second highest scoring tie in the history of the National Football League. That was the other big loser because ties lose, remember, in Circa Survivor. Let me just read some tweets here to start the show. We usually launch right into the following week's games, but I want to go through some of these because one of these leads to a whole conversation I want to have. Eric Pinnell, ANG contest next year, he says. A numbers game contest next year. Guessing lines for the listeners. Whoever gets the most right, meet and greet with you guys. Love the show. Hashtag HTTR. Thank you for the hashtag.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. It's going to be a little tough to do.
Caleb Hoecroft.
I have to keep Gill in check. I can't keep you all in check for whether you're checking books or anything like that.
Caleb Hoecroft. Now that the show has the extra hour, can we get Chrissy back on for a call-in, even if he can't do guessing lines? Loved hearing him discuss stories from the book over the weekend. Oh, I'd love to have Chrissy with stories, some more stories. Bob C-137, has there been a 60 zillion% increase in blocked kicks this season, or have I just involved myself
feels like it.
in most of the games that have had them? I mean, I'm asking for a friend who's off to a rough start with bets and picks. I was saying that last night in the group chat. I'm just like, it's the one thing where nothing has fundamentally changed, and yet it's this unbelievable change in the kicking game where everybody can hit from as far as humanly possible, and then there's a ton of blocked kicks.
And there's some of this is could be logical, but it's not. Like if we were talking about them attempting these so much further out kicks, and maybe there's a lower trajectory and they're getting stuffed by the guy in the middle, that might be a thing. No, it's like people getting around the edge, like stuff like that with blocks that, like you said, it makes no sense. Nothing's changed at all.
This is the one I want to talk about. Ryan Morstein. Gill, great meeting you last month. Next topic for the group text with Felica, Will, Hill, and Fez. Should teams opt to take the ball first in NFL overtime? Have a feeling the group may think taking the ball and not deferring is the right EV play. Okay, so this is, I wanted to get into this. We'll probably start here, and we'll get to the games here starting with the next segment. And we'll do baseball later, by the way, on the show, because obviously baseball mania starting tomorrow, which I'm super excited about to get the postseason going. 40-40 between the Packers and the Cowboys yesterday. And I just want to, I don't know how clear people are on the overtime rules again. And I think for those who aren't, I know there are going to be some who are, but for those who aren't, again, the regular season overtime is a 10-minute period where they change the rules to make sure that that both teams get a possession. The only way that there's not a possession for both teams is if there's a pick six on the first possession or a safety on the first possession. Otherwise, each team is guaranteed a possession. And we talked about this last week, the quirk that no one has ever mentioned on any mainstream broadcast yet because it hasn't come up. If one team gets the ball and bleeds the entire clock and scores either by field goal or touchdown at the gun of the 10-minute overtime, it is ruled a tie because the edict of having both teams get a possession is the one that overrides everything. We also talked about how if you get a touchdown or field goal, say with 6 or 7 seconds left, it is probably then incumbent upon the kicking team, right, the ensuing kickoff, to make sure there is no kickoff return on the subsequent kickoff, because if they bleed the clock on the kickoff return, I don't think that counts either. We'll get to that when that happens. What happened last night was Cowboys matriculate down the field, right? So the Packers win the toss. They defer. This is what Ryan is talking about here on the tweet. They decided to defer. We've had 2 overtime games. Both sets of announcers say this is what teams ought to do, right? Because you want to know what your opponent accomplishes. We'll get to that strategy in a minute if that's foolproof. So the Packers do just that. Remember, the Packers are a team that likes to receive when the game starts, but in overtime they went with, we'll get it second. Cowboys matriculate. They get a field goal from Brandon Aubrey. Packers come down, and then it was a situation, we'll get to that in the game, how they completely were lollygagging with the clock, and they were lucky to get the game-tying field goal in. But I'm not sure if Tirico and Collinsworth were clear about if they scored a touchdown, the game would have been over. The way that they were talking about they don't want to leave the Cowboys time seemed to be a little too broad. If they scored a touchdown, the game would have been over. If they get a field goal, then the Cowboys would have been allowed to have whatever the balance of that 10 minutes was to see if they could score again. With Brandon Aubrey, what a weapon that would have been with very little time left. So that's the regular season rule, the 10-minute period. Once the 10-minute period is over, it's over. And if it ends in a tie, it ends in a tie. The playoffs and the postseason is different, right? Because you can't have a tie. Some team has to advance to the next round, or in the case of the Super Bowl, you have to declare a champion. So remember what happened in that Niners-Chiefs Super Bowl, 15-minute overtime period. That's the first difference. It's a 15-minute period versus a 10-minute period. And in the postseason, you are guaranteed each team has a possession as well, but you can go over the 15 minutes if a second possession bleeds over that, right?
They always use this language. It's the start of a brand new game.
It's not the start of a brand new game. It will bleed over into that. So it's the thing about it was, remember, people were giving Kyle Shanahan guff because he won the toss and elected to receive. And against Patrick, so they went downfield, they kicked a field goal. Remember, they had like a 2nd and 4 at the 9 and couldn't get it in. They had to kick a field goal, but you're playing Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes came down, Chiefs got a touchdown. It was ball game, Super Bowl champions. And people were killing Kyle Shanahan for that. But to answer your question, Ryan, I think there's a second school of thought to that, because remember what Kyle Shanahan said after that game is also kind of valid, which is, yeah, but there has to be some value placed. I'll paraphrase for him. There has to be some value placed on getting that potential third possession.
Right.
Now, when you're playing, this is where it gets like, who's your opponent? If you're playing Patrick Mahomes' peak power, maybe you do want to get the ball second. But generally speaking, while you don't want to give Mahomes essentially 4 downs to play on a second possession, because that's what he would have at his disposal, knowing what the other team scored, there is some value in having the third possession, which could be the game-winning possession. So it's a fascinating question. We'll come back. Guessing lines next.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
Confronting high credit card debt can feel scary. But the good news is, if you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, financial relief options are now available. National Debt Relief is currently offering debt relief designed to reduce what you owe, fast-tracking your way to being debt-free. If you qualify for debt relief, you may be able to pay back significantly less than what you owe and save thousands of dollars. Imagine only paying one low monthly program payment you can afford and saving money as you become debt-free. National Debt Relief has already helped bring debt relief to over 550,000 U.S. consumers, earning thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You're stronger than your credit card debt. Take the first step and visit nationaldebtrelief.com to see what debt relief you qualify for. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
NFL season is rolling along. Every snap brings new opportunities. Make sure you've got the edge with VSiN Pro. Right now, you can save 40% on our football special with a numbers game promo code ANG.
ANG as in a numbers game.
You'll get VSiN Pro access to everything we do across every sport from now through the Super Bowl. That means daily best bets plus a leaderboard of our top experts. Real-time DraftKings and Circa betting splits updated every 5 minutes. Proven betting systems and pro tools at VSiN.com. 24/7 video replays and live breakdowns on the VSiN Watch app. Don't wait. Lock in 40% off today with promo code ANG at VSiN.com/subscribe. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets. Johnny Millionaire, Dumbo of the Week, Matt LaFleur, talking about holding back a Ferrari. I've noticed since that playoff loss with the Rodgers, where they kicked a field goal from like the 2-yard line down double digits, he plays not to lose. Last night, time management, playing for the tie. Tim Bowers, don't know if he was playing for the tie, but it got to that. Tim Bowers, I have this theory that the more of a media darling and offensive guru is Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay, the more conservative they are in kicking field goals and going forward on fourth. They're scared to not be praised. Dan Groeschel, hold on, are you telling me today's show is guessing lines? I'd never heard of that until Todd Wishnet made me aware of it on this week's Megapod. And did you see the AJ Brown quote? Says Anthony Ventresca.
I love AJ Brown. So
AJ
much.
Brown. Keep in mind the Super Bowl champion Eagles, who last I checked are 4-0 and have won 20 of their last 21. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
This is AJ Brown. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. Apparently, he's not happy with his targets.
He's not going to make a scene, Gill. He's not going to make a scene, even though everybody's talking about a tweet now.
Oh, and Sly Bry, noted Eagles fan. He says, I was at the Eagles game in Tampa yesterday and saw the longest outdoor field goal in NFL history, and it felt like a run-of-the-mill 45-yarder. These new K-balls must have helium in them. Incredible. Let's get to the games, because we'll get to all this stuff on Guessing Lines. I like when Missy Elliott makes an appearance in that little start right there.
All right, Gil, Thursday night. This is a good one. Niners at the Rams.
Niners at the Rams. Thursday Night Football. Niners dropped from the undefeated. They dropped to 3-1. It was 3-0 Niners, 3-0 Niners when Jacksonville. Gotta just say this. This will be more about Jacksonville than it will be about San Francisco. But I know the game we're talking about is San Francisco at the Rams. Jacksonville down 3-0 after LaQuint Allen Jr. fielded the ensuing kickoff and went immediately out of bounds at the 12 on the run. So that's the first Jacksonville bonehead error. They get it to 3rd and 13 at the San Francisco 40. Trevor to Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. runs the pattern short of the sticks, doesn't get both feet in. Poor effort, just sort of lollygagged at the sideline. They have to punt.
What is going on with him? That is one of the weirder stories of the NFL season.
That's 3, because Brian Thomas made 2 in one play. That's 3 Jaguars gaffes.
Yeah.
San Francisco, first play, second quarter. Purdy to Luke Farrell for 10, hit by Dennis Gardeck. He fumbles. Andrew Wingard recovers. Jacksonville, first play, Etienne, 48-yard scamper to the house, 7-3 Jacksonville, early second quarter. San Francisco, 1st and 10, Jacksonville, 37. Purdy throws high. He was throwing high all day.
Yeah.
Purdy was just overthrowing everybody, airmailing everybody. Devin Lloyd picks off the deflection. Jacksonville, 3rd and 15. Trevor to Hunter, Travis Hunter, there you are, for 28. Great catch. Ends up being a 14-play, 89-yard drive that takes 8:01 off the clock. Trevor to Hunter long from 4 out, 14-3 Jacksonville. And then Purdy would overthrow Tungus on 3rd down on the next drive. They'd have to punt. 14-6 now, Jacksonville. Bashal Tootin returns a kickoff, 54 yards. Man, how much has special teams mattered this year also in 4 games? Jacksonville to San Francisco 47 with 32 seconds left. They get a 7-yard play and a face mask, 11-yard pass play after a false start. Hunter for 10, 2nd and 5 at the San Francisco 9 with 15 seconds left. 2 shots at it. No timeouts. They get 2 shots at it, right? 15 seconds left in the half. They're at the 15 seconds left in the half. They're at the 9-yard line. Lawrence throws underneath to Etienne. Just dumb. Wastes another chance at the end zone. Little field goal, 17-6 Jacksonville. That's 4 Jacksonville errors in the first half, and they're up 11.
Mm-hmm.
This is just for people who are thinking about playing this team in Survivor moving forward. Good God, what an experience this will be.
I know. I can't believe they're 3-1.
San Francisco helped by a couple Jacksonville penalties. Now we're in the second half. Inside the red zone, Purdy to McCaffrey from 8 out, 17-12. And then they got the 2-point try when Purdy threw a jump ball. Juwan Jennings came down with it. So it was 17-14, more than half of the third quarter left. This was still very much a ball game. And then San Francisco next drive, first play, Purdy picked by Devin Lloyd again. Jacksonville set up at the San Francisco 28. They have to settle for a field goal, a little 44-yarder, 20-14. Jacksonville at this point, 4:07 left third quarter. Then San Francisco a 3-and-out when Kendrick Bourne flat out drops a 3rd and 9 pass from Purdy. And then here comes the special teams. Parker Washington returns the ensuing punt, 87 yards to the house. 2-point try fails, 26-14 Jacksonville, late third quarter. Then San Francisco 4th and 2 at the Jacksonville 26. Purdy airmails DeMarcus Robinson. Next time San Francisco does get the ball, they do score from their own 8, 92 yards in 8 plays. Purdy to Tongas from 21 out, 26-21 Jacksonville, halfway through the 4th. And then Jacksonville starts at their own 44 after enough unnecessary roughness on San Francisco on a kickoff. They get it to a Cam Little 47-yard field goal try. Can't say a little try because they don't know it's Cam Little. He tried to go up 8 points. He's wide right. So San Francisco down 5, takes over at their own 37 with 3:32 left. 1st and 10 at midfield. Purdy sacked by Eric Armstead. Fumbles recovered by Foyesade Oluwakan. Jacksonville then, 49ers have 1 timeout. They use it after the first. Then Trevor runs out of bounds on second to stop the clock. Fifth Jacksonville mental error. But they still get bailed out. 3rd and 5 at the San Francisco 42. Trevor to Hunter Long for 8 ball game. So just know this about Jacksonville. 5 bonehead plays, and they still beat the Niners. And then there's the Rams, who are hosting San Francisco, as you said. Let's go, after a Daniel Jones pick deep early by Cameron Curl. This is a 10-6 game in favor of the Colts. Late second half, Rams from their own 4 with 2:14 left in the half. 13 plays, 96 yards. Stafford to Devontae from 10 out. 13-10 Rams at the half. Puka Nacua at half had 7 catches for 112. Stafford was Nacua was big, Devontae was big, Tutu as it coming up was big. So it's 13-10 Rams. Third quarter, Indianapolis 3rd and 4th, their own 24. Here's the play of the game. And if for those of us who had the Rams last week and who had the Rams this week, they giveth and they taketh.
Yep.
Or is it they taketh and they giveth? I'm not sure. But this I am not apologizing for because of what happened last week against the Eagles. Indianapolis 3rd and 4th, their own 24, down 13-10. Jones to Adonai Echad. Adonai Mitchell makes a great one-handed catch, pinning the ball to his body. Rams DBs collide with each other, so Adonai runs free, goes to celebrate a yard before he crosses the goal line and fumbles it through the end zone. Wow. 75-yard play, but not a 76-yard play.
Mm-hmm.
He needed 76. I feel like this happens twice a year.
It's incredible how much it happens. It's incredible, Gill. The only part that I want to even excuse him for a little bit was it feels like most of the time when we see this, the guys just drop it early thinking they're over the line. He at least was trying to transition hands and it got loose.
Why are you trying to transition?
I don't know. So you can celebrate. You can point it out.
That's what I'm saying. Next time Indianapolis gets the ball, 11 plays, 90 yards. Jones to Warren from 23 out. For 23, then to Pittman from 2 out. 17-13 Colts, 11:34 left in the fourth quarter. Rams, first play, Stafford fumbles. Adetomowa Adebawore recovers. Indianapolis at the Rams 17. Questionable OPI called on the Colts. And they have to settle for a Schrader 38-yard field goal. 20-13 Colts, 8:58 left. And the Rams and Stafford, 83 yards, including a 4th and 2 at the Indianapolis 9. Stafford to Puka. That was the touchdown play. 4th and 2 from the 9. Stafford to Puka in the end zone. 20-20, 3:20 left. Indianapolis gets the ball, though, right? Chance to win this. They get it to 1st and 10 at the Rams 47. Jonathan Taylor to the house. Touchdown Colts. Except for there's a flag. Adonai Echad. Adonai Mitchell nullifies it with a hold.
Ouch.
After a reverse sack of Jones, Indianapolis forced to punt. Rams from their own 12. 1 play. Stafford to Tutu Atwell for 88. Touchdown. 27-20. And the Rams somehow are covering, let alone leading. By the way, the Colts? You know how many players they had on defense on that Tutu Atwell touchdown?
Dozen?
10. Indianapolis 1st and 15 at their own 27. Jones pick by Cam Curl. Bookending the game. Cam Curl picks. Ball game. Niners at the Rams. 2 3-1s at the NFC West on Thursday Night Football. I'll say the Rams -4.
Rams 3.5. Pretty close. I think that makes sense.
Are there any 3s out there?
Last I checked, that was 3.5 painted. Yeah.
I think I like the Rams. I think the Rams are a demonstrably better football team than the Niners.
They've been great. I'm interested to see how far this team can go. We talked about it all offseason, that set of wide receivers that you talked about, Kyron Williams, the running game, all those weapons they have on offense, potentially an extremely dangerous team. It's just, you got to see a little bit more consistency, right?
I'm going to make that bet right now.
And 49ers, man, we've talked about a lot. The schedule's easy. This team is so banged up right now, though. It's hard to put too much faith into them.
Bet out of the chute. Let's see. You know what? Let me see what. I might even buy it. Well, we'll see. No, maybe
there are some cheap 3.5s out there.
Let's see what's going on here. Maybe 3.5 or 3. Let's see what happens. Coming back. More guessing lines. Week 5 on VC.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Monday Night Football, better with Bracco. All NFL player props are -110 instead of the usual -120. Use promo code VSiN to claim a 50% deposit bonus and unlock ongoing rewards. Plus, we've added Bracco's lines to our VSiN betting splits page so you can track the action before you bet smarter this Monday. Go to Play Bracco, that's BRACCO, playbracco.com today. I did make the Rams bets. Didn't think I'd have a bet right out of the chute. I'm on the Rams -3.5 against the Niners Thursday night. We get tweets at Beating the Book. The best listeners in the game. Sparty KY. I'll never whine again about the gambling gods after holding on to a 72.5 under bet on the Angels. 3-16 finish. Whew. Good for you, Sparty. Have I mentioned the Guardians destroying me once again? And
that's what it was for you on the Rams, though. It was the betting football gods, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but the Guardians are its own category. So not only did I lose the season, the Guardians win the AL Central 14 games above 500.
Incredible.
With a negative run differential. Lost the season win total. The alt season win total came down to the last game. Came down to extra innings of the last game yesterday. The Rangers went up with a Rowdy Tellez 3-run shot at the top of the 10th. You're like, okay, well, at least I'm going to win the alt season. The Guardians, with nothing to play for, they already clinched the division. They're not going to get a 1 or 2 seed. They played 4 in the bottom of the 10th. And with that, they also win September wins at Circa. If they lost, they would have lost September wins at Circa, where there's tiebreakers. Reminding me once again that bookending from the beginning of last year, they also screwed me on the 65-1. I hate your franchise, Adam Burke. But congratulations to you. I hope they go very far now.
More on that discussion coming up later.
Tristan Paul, make it simple. Remove the sudden death part of overtime. 10 minutes overtime with fourth quarter timing rules. When time is up, game is over. No special rules for this knick-knack stuff. He said different word than stuff. Playoffs just make it 15 minutes. Still tied to do another one. More football, more fun. Tristan, I'm not sure what you're getting at there other than this. The reason that we came to this is because all y'all, I'm not sure about you, but all y'all complained, right? That you didn't like the rule where if one team scored a touchdown, the game was over. Remember, when I was a kid, it was true sudden death. Mm-hmm. You got a field goal, it was over, right? And then it was like, okay, well, you got to score a touchdown. If you score a touchdown, then it's over on the first possession. So what it is now is all a clamoring of people complaining about that stuff. Remember how y'all were like, both teams should get the ball. So we can't complain about what we have now. Jason McKinney, what were your thoughts on the Cowboys not going for 2 when it was 13-8? Does anything change when you know you have a kicker like Aubrey? I didn't really make note of it at the time. I understand. I remember it, but I wasn't like pressed about it.
I was wondering about that, but I mean, gosh, with how much scoring ended up happening, I don't know really how much that mattered.
Numbers, guys. Good morning, guys. What a weekend. Golf, baseball. Wow. Did you guys catch that NBC has the rights to the NBA this fall? Sarcasm, he says. Neil Vanskoy. Neil might be right about this. I'm not sure. He says the opportunity to possess. I was talking about the one where if you kick a field goal or you score with 6 seconds left in the 10-minute overtime period, that you would have to do it so they don't have a return.
Yeah.
He says the opportunity to possess applies only during kicking plays. A kickoff is the opportunity to possess for the receiving team. If the kicking team legally recovers the kick, the receiving team is considered to have had its opportunity. Normal touching rules apply. So he's saying the kickoff return would count as a possession.
So as soon as the ball leaves the tee.
I'll need a ruling on that from somebody else. He might be right. Trip Tepper. How many times is Kyle Shanahan going to ignore his below-average special teams unit? Punt return touchdown, crippled the Niners. Shanahan has given away so many games during his tenure with sloppy special teams. Sure has. And Judd O'Connor on the Thursday night game. Haven't looked at the history of the Rams, but it seems like they're incredibly good on a short week. Seems like the Rams offense is too tough to prepare for in just 3 days. Well, I'm on the Rams -3.5 based on what we just went through there. I think, again, they're demonstrably better than the San Francisco 49ers as currently constituted. Let's go to Sunday.
Sunday, London, Vikings stay put. You will play the Browns. Sunday, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time.
You mean the Vikings will play the Browns, is what you're saying?
Yeah, what did I just say? Sorry.
I just thought you meant I'm playing the Browns. Okay, you're right. Congratulations, London. Enjoy the Vikings and Browns. Vikings in Dublin yesterday.
It could be worse.
I guess.
Not much, but it could be.
Not offensive. Well, maybe it could be. But you have 2 good defenses. I'm curious to know what the total will be in this game. 3-0 Vikings. A little past the halfway mark of the first quarter. Pittsburgh 9 plays, 71 yards. Rodgers to DK for 14, 17, and 11 on the drive. Gainwell in from 1-7-3 Pittsburgh. Next time Pittsburgh gets the ball, 1 play. Rodgers to DK from 80 out. A lot of yak. 14-3 Pittsburgh early second quarter. Then Minnesota, 3rd and 8 at the Pittsburgh 43. Wentz throws his first non-completion, picked by Deshaun Elliott. Pittsburgh, Boswell, 30-yard field goal try, blocked by Isaiah Rodgers. What a run Isaiah Rodgers is having. At 14-6 now, this is in the second half, Minnesota, second possession at midfield. Wentz picked off a deflection by T.J. Watt. Pittsburgh set up at the Minnesota 35 after an 8-yard pass play. 4 straight Gainwell rushes into the end zone from 4 out. 21-6 Pittsburgh. 2:33 left in the third quarter. Got the 24-6 Kelley early fourth quarter. And at this point, I'm like, well, I better get me some food before the real game start because I want to take all my notes for Guessing Lines because this game is clearly over. 24-6 Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter, right? Not so fast, my friend. Minnesota, 9 plays, 70 yards. Wentz to Xavier Scott from 17 out. 2-point conversion from Wentz to Jalen Naylor. 24-14, 7:50 left in the fourth quarter. I'm still good. Pittsburgh then 4th and goal to Minnesota 3 with 4:13 to go. Gainwell gets 2. Did you have a problem with that they went for it?
No.
I didn't either. I think that was the right play. Then Minnesota from their own 1. 3rd play, Wentz to Addison for 81. Where was the defense?
Nice to have him back.
Tripped up at the 1-yard line. 4 plays later, 4th and goal from the 2. Wentz to Naylor, touchdown. 24-21 with a 2:08 left north of the 2-minute warning. Stevie Fezzik, please note that they didn't go from 10 to 4 to 2 like you would do. They went from 10 to 4 to 3 like normal people do. Minnesota with 1 timeout left and 2-minute warning. Onside kick fails. Pittsburgh takes over with 2:07 left at the Minnesota 49. They're up 3. They get it to 4th and inches at the Minnesota 40. 4th and inches at the Minnesota 40, up 3. And Mike Tomlin decides to punt with 1:08 left. Bro, I know you ended up winning the game. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? Touchback. They net 20 yards. Minnesota takes over their own 20 with 1:01 left in the fourth quarter. First play, Wentz seemingly picked by James Pierre, but ruled correctly to have bobbled it before getting both feet in bounds. Defensive hold and offsides later. Minnesota at their own 30 with 48 seconds left. Wentz to Scott for 10, then intentional grounding on Wentz, trying to avoid a would-be Herbig sack. 27 seconds left, loss of down. Back at the 23 to Hawkinson for 11. Spiked with 14 seconds left, but 4th and 13. Delay of game, then 4th and 18, intended for Addison, broken up by Deshaun Elliott. Ball game. And yes, it works out for the Vikings nonetheless. For the Steelers nonetheless. 24-21, they beat the Vikings. Cleveland loses to Detroit. It started out with an 88-yard, first time Cleveland had the ball, 88 yards, 13th play, Quinshon Judkins in from 1 on 4th and goal, 7-0 Cleveland. Detroit would match it on the subsequent drive. Gibbs in from 8, 7-7. Then Cleveland, 3rd and 8 at their own 25. Flacco just threw the ball up in the air on the left side, expecting a receiver to be there, but Kirby Joseph was there to pick it. Could have fair caught the ball. And Detroit from the Cleveland 46 had to settle for a field goal, 48-yarder from Jake Bates, 10-7 early second quarter. Later, Cleveland, 3rd play, 1st and 10, own 30. Flacco picked by DJ Reed after Judy fell down, returned at 34 yards. Detroit set up at the Cleveland 5, 3rd and goal, Goff to St. Brown, 17-7. It would be 20-7 at the half after a 58-yarder by Bates. And in the second half, Detroit, 1st and 20, first possession, owned 12. Goff throws it up for grabs deep, way underthrew the ball, picked by Denzel Ward. Cleveland set up at the Detroit 42, but they have to settle for a Schmidt 33-yarder. It was 20-10 at this point, and then Cleveland got the ball back. And they set up for a Schmidt 56-yard field goal, but he missed that one. And from there forward, it was all Detroit. 4th and 2 at the Cleveland 24. They went for it. Gibbs went out of bounds. Oh, not yet. Gibbs went out of bounds after a 1-yard pickup. So Cleveland had the ball again down 10. But when they had a 3-and-out special teams, Khalif Raymond returned to Corey Bojorquez punt, 65 yards to the house, 27-10. This is early fourth quarter. Later, Flacco would get sacked, fumbled, recovered by Trevor Nowaski. Denver set up at the Cleveland 20, Goff to St. Brown for 8 out, 34-10. As Detroit, in a game that was much more competitive than the final score would indicate, I will say, even though you never felt like Cleveland could actually win the game. So this is Minnesota at Cleveland at London. Because Minnesota is already in the UK, right? They don't have to travel across the pond here. And I think Cleveland is doing that today, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I'll check.
I don't know if they're doing it today, but they're flying directly from Detroit. I would assume. So, advantage Minnesota. Now, Minnesota was what? They ended up being a 2.5-point favorite against Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Even though they lost, they had that nice flourish at the end. So I would think against Cleveland, they would have to be north of 3 points. I will say Minnesota minus 4.5 at Cleveland.
This is where most spots opened like 4.5 down to 3.5 everywhere.
Okay, as long as it's over 3, though, that makes sense. Yeah.
I agree. Any interest, though, on either side?
Nope.
I don't know if I'm running to lay more than a field goal with the Vikings.
Nope.
I'll say Carson Wentz, though,
What's the total? What's the total in this game?
Total in this game is 36.5. There are 37s out there.
I was hoping for a 4 to begin that.
Enjoy, London.
Yeah. Have fun, London. More guessing lines. Looking for value in Week 5. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
NHL season, 8 days away. Drop the puck October 7th. VSiN's got you covered. Our NHL hub at VSiN.com/NHL is packed with team previews, futures insights, award markets, and our experts' best season-long bets. With new content and features rolling out all season, you'll have everything from Stanley Cup contenders to player props in one place. Get ready for opening night at VSiN.com/NHL. Gill Alexander, we get tweets at Beating the Book. Corbin on Twitter. Good morning, fellas. Brutal weekend for me. Did anybody notice that review in the Vikings game when they were able to place the ball 9 inches from the first down marker? Guess that's not available league-wide. Just those folks in Ireland get it. Cool. I did not see that.
Good
play.
for them, yeah.
We might have been. Was that in the first half? I didn't see that. Just here to relax. Is what his Twitter handle is. Your boy hit Guardians to win the division at 100-1. Wowza! Whew. I assume my boy is you. Placed it on August 21st as the season long over was starting to burn. One of those emotional hedges. What a ride!
That's wild.
Bro, if you time that well, boy,
yeah.
that's
about as well as you could have timed it, right?
It's historical. No team has ever come back from 15.5 games down. It's never happened before. It's amazing. Bruce Doe Biggin. Indy's out of 9, Mitchell's drop. Green Bay's Tucker Kraft lands twice on the 6-inch line. Maybe I should have watched the Ryder Cup. Oh well, Mama said you can't hurry love. Interesting comment at the end. Joe Ryan. Heard on the radio postgame the Bears were 0-25 until yesterday when their opponent scored 23 points or more. Is that right? They were last 0-25 when their opponent scored 23 or more?
Sounds right.
We'll go with it.
I'll go with it. Sounds right. I mean, like the Bears have struggled to find a quarterback, right? That has kind of been a thing for them.
Numbers guy says he has a Rams minus 2.5 somewhere. Best money line.
He's asking whether to pay up for that.
Best money line he can find is minus 155 at MGM. Too pricey? I didn't buy anything. I'm going minus 3.5. And I don't. If you're bent on playing the money line, I don't believe that's too pricey. But don't hold me to that. Lockman.
I'm thinking he's talking about buying through the 3. 2.5 at minus 155 because the money line's like minus 2.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Minus 2.5, minus 155. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'd need Elihu to tell me precisely if that math is right or physics. Lockman. I really need you guys to consider this is a very interestingly worded tweet. I really need you guys to consider the fact the Eagles can potentially be last year's Chiefs with a lot of one-score wins. I said this last week. Please think about it.
I like this tweet. I like this tweet, Gill, though, because have we been hating on the Eagles?
No, I have them power ranked number 1. What are you talking about?
And I agree with your tweet.
Yes.
I think this is what we talked about so much with the Chiefs last year, right? It's the one-score game thing. It's a thing. But when you talk about teams that have great coaches, great quarterbacks, you do expect that they can do it a little bit more and get done.
Why is Lockman chastising us? That really needs you guys to consider.
It's like the A.J. Brown
Please
stuff
think
is
hilarious.
About it. I think it's because we brought up A.J. Brown.
Oh, Stringfellow Hawk.
Why is Saquon Barkley not going nuts?
Stringfellow Hawk. Giants fan here had the Chargers at DraftKings Survivor. I hate them. Also had the Packers, where at DraftKings ties survive. There you go. Not everybody plays Circa. Circa ties lose, DraftKings ties win. Darren Frazier, it's a good morning when you have plus a half point on the Packers as the last leg of your 9-leg teaser parlay, and it ends with a tie. Nice job. And then Rich PSM, how about the Angels under 71.5 to see them go like 3-21 this month to tease me, then finally win Friday and end at 72. Another Jason Weingarten pre-flop play that one. Besides, he says the Rockies can win 35 at home. Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
There's a chance, Gill. I'd have to go back and check the record books, but there's a chance that no team in NFL history, this sounds so wrong as I'm saying it, and my NFL betting history has cost me more money over a 2-week span than the Green Bay Packers.
They killed 2 weeks in a row of Survivor players. It's not quite the carnage, you could use it for last year, the carnage that the Bengals inflicted on Survivor players last year, but it's the 2025 version of it. Next.
All right, early window, Raiders at Colts.
All right, we're finally to the early window. Raiders lose to the Bears. See this game? Raiders fall to 1-3. Mm-hmm. Raiders 3rd and 10, own 46. Geno picked by Kevin Byard, returns at 35 yards. Caleb gets the 2nd and 3rd down passes batted down, even though Chicago was set up at the Vegas 24. 3-0 Bears. Santos field goal. Then Las Vegas 4th and 1, own 35. Genty hit by Noah Sewell. He fumbles. Recovered by Tyreek Stevenson. Chicago set up again at the Vegas 20-yard line. This time, 3rd and goal to 13. Caleb throws high. Max Crosby picks it off a deflection. Las Vegas, 66 yards. Geno to Genty from 8 out. 7-3 Las Vegas. Closing seconds, first quarter. Then Chicago 4th and 1 at their own 40. Caleb to Swift for 7. Then after a 29-yard hookup to Kmet. Next play, incomplete, fumble, sack. They eschew the 57-yard field goal try. They punt. How about that? You don't see that very often anymore. Las Vegas, 3rd play, next drive, own 23. Geno picked again by Byard. After return, Chicago set up at the Las Vegas 24, another short field. But they have to settle for Santos' 43-yard field goal. 7-6 Las Vegas. 4:22 second quarter. At this point, you're thinking Bears are squandering all these opportunities. My goodness. Advantage Las Vegas. And then first play, Genty for 64 to the house. There he is. There's a kid from Boise State. Touchdown. 14-6 Las Vegas. 4:03 left second quarter. Now 14-9 in the second half. First play, Geno picked by a diving Tyreek Stevenson. Chicago once again set up in plus territory at the Las Vegas 40. They overcome a face mask on offense. And on 2nd and 22, the Raiders give up it on 2 plays. 3rd and 12, Caleb to Odunze from 27 out. 16-14 Chicago. They got themselves a lead. They opt for no 2, so it's 16-14. They don't try to make it 17-14. 11:38 left in the third quarter. Ben Johnson was curious with some of his decision making here. Las Vegas then 10 plays, 80 yards. Geno to Genty from 9 out. 21-16 Las Vegas in the third quarter. Later, closing stages of the fourth quarter. It's 24-19 Las Vegas. 6:45 left. Chicago, they need a touchdown from their own 31. Caleb to Swift for 5. DeAndre for 7. Caleb to Moore for 13. To Swift for 7. False start. Caleb for 13. 2 plays later. Caleb to Odunze for 17. 2-minute warning at the Las Vegas 13. 2 plays later. Caleb for 6. Swift for 5. 3rd and 4. Swift around the left side from 2 out. Touchdown. 2-point try fails. Chicago up 25-24. 1:34 left. Plenty of time in the modern NFL for the Raiders to matriculate and get themselves a win. All they need is a field goal. Dylan Laube returns the ensuing kickoff 38 yards. They're set up. The Raiders are at their own 42. 2 timeouts left. 3rd and 2 at the Chicago 35. Genty gets 1. 38 seconds left. Carlson, 54-yard try. Blocked by Josh Blackwell. Bears win. Ball game.
Another block.
Another block. That's a block that people won't even remember.
Yeah, I know. It is wild. The blocks, man.
Las Vegas is in Indy. We already talked about Indy. Indy loses to the Rams in ridiculous fashion. Adonai Mitchell drops the ball heading in at the 1, and then they give up that 88-yard play to Tutu Atwell at the end with 10 men on the field on defense. Daniel Jones in defeat, 24 of 33 for 262. Mitchell, 3 for 96. The long one was 75. It wasn't 76. But the Colts gave up 462 total yards to the Rams. They were -2 in turnovers. I will say the Colts hosting the Raiders, the Colts by 6.
Yeah, you're in the range. 6.5, I think, is where it opened up most places. It's still 6.5 most places. I see a 7 out there. And 6 is 6 at DraftKings right now.
I don't know what to make of the Raiders. Do they stink?
I really wish I would have bet that Geno Smith most interceptions prop before the season. It was one I really considered, and it's just
I don't get the feeling they stink, but they're certainly not good. Too many errors.
They feel very much like what I thought the Raiders were going to be coming into this season, except I did expect a little bit more consistency out of the offense. I think the Brock Bowers injury has held them back.
I will tell you this. I feel better about the Colts in defeat, the way that they lost yesterday, than I did after they were 3-0.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Because they probably should have won that game yesterday, let alone not cover.
Yeah.
They dropped to 3-1. So it's more than 6.
Yeah. 6 to 7. Yeah.
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
Okay.
Where we're at. You're seeing a cheap 7 here, right? At circa. Otherwise, it's 6.5, 6 everywhere. I was looking for, when you were going through that recap, what did Genty, Rookie of the Year odds? Genty, now your favorite all of a sudden. We talked last week about how far he had dropped back.
Genty, 21 carries for 138 yards and a touchdown. He did lose a fumble. 2 catches for 17 yards and 2 touchdowns. He scored 3 touchdowns total.
Yeah, goes from plus 850 to your plus 280 favorite at DraftKings.
Again, a lot of these games, too, if you look at the total yards in the box score, Vegas outgained Chicago 357 to 271. Losing team often with more yards, it seems. A lot of that's in catch-up. But here was the real stat. On the ground, Las Vegas outgained Chicago 240 to 69. Wow. Again, 138 of those from Ashton Genty. But they were -3 in turnovers. What do we say? 3-point shooting is all that matters in a NBA box score. If I see that, I can tell you who won the game 90% of the time. Turnovers. You could tell who won 90% of the time in the NFL. You just had access to that before the game. Sadly, you don't. Ashton Genty plus 280, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Emeka Egbuka had a big catch late, 3-1. Omarion Hampton, who had a great game yesterday for the Chargers, 5-1. Jackson Dart making his first start, looked fairly good yesterday, 6-1. And then Tyler Warren of the Colts at plus 650. Everybody else in double digits. Pretty crowded. More guessing lines. Looking for value. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN.
The numbers told the story. They always do. It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM Channel 158. It's Gill Alexander alongside Kelley Bydlon in the hizzy. Kelley Bydlon. Is how you spell that.
I'm glad we brought up last week how many bad games there were this week.
I kept saying to people,
we should make it international week, Gil. We should send all these games elsewhere, then bring everything back to the States.
Oh, don't do that. No, I was saying it through the prism of Survivor, was like, for everybody who was like, hey, free bingo square on Buffalo. Was it? Was it really?
I was sweating.
I was sort of giggling the whole time. Now I had a couple on Buffalo, but I was giggling the whole time at people who said that because I'm like, here y'all go.
Okay, look, Gil, it is very much, because this was in my head too. I was all in on Buffalo. It would be poetic justice for me to get burnt by a Buffalo team losing for how much I love Josh Allen. And then this week, we just went through the game. I think very much I'll be looking at the Colts to use them. Well, and old Anthony Richardson fan over here is going to, I am expecting Daniel Jones to finally have a very bad game next week.
This is a much more difficult week. This is the first difficult week, I would say.
I saw a couple people tweet it. I agree. Survivor starts this week.
I think that's true. And again, how do I divvy up? Will I have 5 or 6? I don't know. We'll see what happens tonight. But I will have the only 2 that I don't have on Buffalo. I think I will probably, as I planned it with Buffalo,
right.
2 weeks, 2 of them 2 weeks ago, 2 of them this week, 2 of them next week.
Because even a couple weeks ago we talked about, I remember you were talking about that was your plan with Buffalo.
That was my plan with
and
Buffalo.
I was kind of saving them all for this past weekend with Buffalo. But Gil was right at the time, and it's staring at me in the face now. It's, well, what do you play this week? And the Colts were not one that I had mapped out before the season.
That's right.
So you're kind of lucky to even have that as an option this week.
I will say this again. The notion of mapping out Survivor from before the season starts is, at this point in this league, completely ridiculous.
I like to do it. I just always say, you've done it. I've done it long enough now that like, just don't spend too much time and energy on this, because this is going to, you're going to rip this plan apart in a few weeks.
We get tweets at Beating the Book. Matt Allen sent this to Rufus and me. He says, have you all seen this? Kalshi raking all bets as lost on the Hovland 4-ball withdrawal on Saturday, even though the slip says outcome is null and paid out, which it wasn't. I got a couple, Matt, I didn't notice that, and we got a couple of these. Someone else ruled with the Green Bay tie. They ruled it a loss on some other bet. Yeah, books. Make sure books are doing the right thing on
parlays or whatever. Yeah, the Hovland one's tough, guys. I don't even really know how to answer that with, because Ryder Cup is so different from any stroke play event. Usually, it's just check your bets. Absolutely.
Chris Hartman. Gill, I know it's guessing lines, but the Yankees' longest win streak over-under was 7.5, of which I had the under. Sadly, you guessed it, they won the last 8 games of the season. Ugh, it's brutal. Oh, this is even worse. 3-Jack H, 3-1, 3-1. Oh, Gill, plenty of people were affected by the Raiders' block kick. That was the last leg of a FanDuel prop at 125-1 that had all afternoon teams kicking 2 field goals. Crushing blow.
Wow.
And then Tom Mass, 1313, love guessing lines, but is anyone keeping score this year? Just curious. I can tell you, first 2 weeks, awesome. Last 2 weeks, terrible. This past week was an 0 for 3 after having like 3 and 0s to begin the year. So there's your answer, Tom. Hadn't been good this past week. That's why I started the show by saying, to quote the great Cam Ward, keeping it a buck. Guessing lines was booty hole last week.
Man, there were some of those lines though. You and I believe both ended up on. Man, we were scratching our heads at all. Sometimes the market has it right. You know, it's that Panthers number, right? We're like, how could this possibly be catching 5.5? And then that game plays out, and it's just not even close.
And you know quickly.
You know quickly, right? You and I were sitting on the Chargers too, right? And we're like, how could this be the same number as the Chiefs last week? Got to play it, and then right away.
Next.
All right, early window. Speaking of the Giants at the Saints.
Oh, that's a barn burner of a game.
Oh, yeah, it's a great week of football.
Oh, Giants at the Saints. Enjoy that, United States, since we say that about London. Giants beat the Chargers. Most survivor losses were on the Chargers yesterday. Jackson Dart with his debut start in the National Football League. Giants from their own 11. First time they had the ball along the way. Dart for 9, 4, and 15. Into the end zone, 7-0 Giants in New York. Loving the kid early. Chargers punt on a drive where Joe Alt was carted off with an ankle injury. Looks like the Chargers might have avoided the worst.
Yeah. High ankle sprain, I believe is what they're saying.
The Giants, however, did not avoid the worst, which we'll get to. Chargers, 2nd and 10, own 45. Herbert, pass hit by Dexter Lawrence. Picked by Lawrence. Returns 37 yards. Sexy Dexy down to the Chargers 3. But after a false start, Chargers defense holds. Jude, how do you pronounce his last name? Makatamney? Is that how you pronounce his last name? 22-yard field goal, 10-0 Giants, early second quarter. Then 10-3 Giants. Here's the play. 2nd and 10 at midfield. Dart intended for Neighbors, incomplete. Malik Neighbors goes down, crunched to the ground, hurts his knee, carted off, ACL tear. Looks like his season is done. They have to settle for another McCatmanay, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Field goal, 13-3 Giants, but what would turn out to be, Kelley, ready for this, a Pyrrhic victory for the New York Giants.
There you go.
Chargers 4th and 2 at the Giants 41. Herbert hard counts the Giants off sides. Next play, Herbert to Quentin Johnston from 36 out. Great pass en route. 13-10 Giants at the half. Quentin Johnston, what a turnaround for him. Second half, Chargers, second possession, 3rd and 6, own 45. Remember, they're down 3 only here. 3rd and 6 at their own 45. Herbert hit as he throws, picked by Drew Phillips, returns at 56 yards. Giants set up 1st and goal at the Chargers 3. 2nd and goal, Dart, shovel pass to Bud Dupree. It's his first touchdown pass of his career. 19-10 Giants, unnecessary roughness on D on the extra point. So from the 1, they go for 2. Scatabo in 21-10 Giants. Late stages of the 3rd quarter. But the Chargers answer, 3 plays, 66 yards. Hampton chugs it in from 54 out. Herbert, 2-point run. It's 21-18 Giants, 1:27 left in the 3rd quarter. At this point, you're like, all right, Chargers going to end up winning this, right? Right? Giants.
I sure thought so.
Two possessions after that. They get it to 1st and goal at the 4. Scatabo for 3. Scatabo for 0. Dart, 2-yard loss. And then 4th and goal from the 3. Dart incomplete, intended for Wan'Dale Robinson. Chargers take over at their own 4. Matriculate after Hampton goes for 29. On 3rd and 3 at their own 11, but forced to punt. And the Giants got the ball back at their own 31 with 2:47 left. And guess what? The Chargers couldn't get them off the field quickly enough. So the Chargers only got the ball back with 18 seconds left at their own 16, needing a field goal to tie. They couldn't go anywhere. Incomplete deep middle field to Johnston. Or incomplete in the middle of the field. Probably good that it was incomplete because the clock would have bled. Then they do make a play to Johnson for 22, but they can't get out of bounds. Ball game. They had no timeouts. Giants win. Chargers survivors lose. Dart in his debut, 13 of 20 for 111. 1 touchdown, no picks. He was sacked 5 times, but did gain 10 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown on the ground. And once again, Giants outgained by the Chargers, 338 to 250, but +2 in turnovers. You know the drill. And then the survivor sweat of the day. Maybe it was, I don't know if it was the sweat of the day because the Packers were probably that. But New Orleans and Buffalo traded touchdowns to begin the game. Buffalo scored. Saints scored, long drive. Buffalo scores again, long drive. 14-7 Bills. By the way, Group A then hits a 54-yard field goal later in the half to make it 14-10. That was after New Orleans was set up at the Buffalo 49. So 14-10 with 5:31 left in the second quarter. And then Buffalo has a 3-and-out. And Scott Hansen tries to dive into the gambling pool and says this with the Saints with the ball down just 4. He says, the Bills were more than 2 touchdown favorites in some lines heading into today. Some lines. I love that. I was like, okay, Scott, maybe not so much with the betting.
He's trying, Gill. Okay, he's trying.
He's trying. Get it to 3rd and goal to Buffalo 6. Double dip chance for New Orleans. This is the key of the game. They're down 4 points. They're getting the ball to start the second half, and they are bleeding the clock here in the first half. Double dip chance, and Rattler flips it to Olave, who throws it, and it's picked by Cole Bishop. That's the first part of your double dip that gets doused. And then you're forced to punt on the side on the second half side. So that was the key to the game because then Buffalo goes 80 yards, Allen in from 5, 21-10. New Orleans did answer that. Rattler to Olave from 3 out to cut it 21-16. 2-point try failed late third quarter. And then Buffalo 4th and 2 at the New Orleans 49. Allen to Shakir, 1-yard loss on an attempted trickeration. So New Orleans does get the next chance at midfield with 12:52 left, down 5. They get it to 3rd and 13 at the Buffalo 17. Rattler to Cooks in the end zone. It looks like he got it, but he can't quite corral it on replay, and they have to settle for a Group A 35-yard field goal. 21-19 Buffalo. 8:53 left, then Buffalo 4 plays, 60 yards. Allen for 27. Then Allen to Kincaid from 28 out to close it. 28-19 Buffalo. And then they stop the Saints on downs. They add a field goal later. 31-19 Buffalo, where the Saints had a really big chance with a double dip, and then they had a chance from midfield in the 4th to take a lead, and they couldn't do either.
Yeah.
And Buffalo wins it, and the most survivors, as we predicted, I think that wasn't a bold prediction by any chance, survive with the billiards. I had 2 of mine on the Bills, so I was with you. In that respect,
I was sweating, Gill. But then you put that trust in Josh Allen, and he looks like the old dude for one drive. Makes great run down the middle, that great pass, boom.
All right, one more week of that, Josh Allen. One more week, and then you can lose away after next week. You can lose away. Giants at the Saints. I didn't know. I said Saints -1.5. I just split the difference between the 0 and the 3.
I wish there was a camera on me for the entire time you were doing that breakdown because I looked at this one. I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to pull the trigger on this. And then it moved while you were doing the recaps. So we are pick 'em basically everywhere. I say this, Gill, because I like your line better. That's where I had this game. Giants opened most places as a favorite. 1.5, 2-point favorites.
Why?
No idea. I was running to put the Saints in a teaser, but
so
missed that.
Coming my way.
Yeah.
Pick 'em.
Pick 'em most places.
Yeah, I have no
DraftKings still Giants 2.5.
I have no problem with a pick 'em. Why in the world would the Giants have been a favorite? I mean, the Saints comported themselves very well.
Yeah.
Coming back, looking for value so far, the Rams. We'll see if we got more next on a numbers game right here at VSiN.
Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee. And right now, you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let us surprise you.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Don't forget to check out the Sharp Plays Unmatched Transparency with records updated daily, AI betting analysis, real-time global betting info, alerts directly from the pros. Check them out. We invite you to do so at sharpplays.com. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Joe C. is checking in. He says, I was really close to taking Houston for Circa Survivor yesterday. Now I got to sweat out the Broncos tonight. Most of mine were on Houston. Had some Buffalo.
Good for you. That wasn't close.
I got one on Denver. One remaining on Denver tonight. Judd O'Connor. Card standalone, best Survivor play week 5. That being said, I'm rooting for Kyler to turn the ball over many times.
I'm just wondering how many people have used the Cardinals already. Like, I have used them against multiple opponents in different pools.
I have used them in...
That was really my only plan.
I have used them in 2 of mine so far.
Oh, okay.
And I remember looking forward to week 5 thinking that they will absolutely be part of mine as well, week 5. Kevin Ryan. Gill, is it time to take the Chiefs division winner at plus 140? I think not, he says. Well, I liked him minus 115 before the season started. Remember, I was like, we're going to look back at this bet and say it was all out there all off season. They've won 9 of these in a row. Not to mention 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls they've gotten to. But they won 9 AFC West titles in a row. And it's part of the reason why I kept having them 10th in my power rankings. Out of respect, right? And here they are 2-2. And I don't think there's anybody now with Worthy back that would say they're not one of the 10 best teams in the NFL.
It's amazing how much a week can make a difference.
Or 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right, plus 270 they were last week heading into this week. Chargers lose. They win, boom.
And one more. This is great. Matthew Mayberry. Scott Hansen also said, yes, I noticed this as well. Scott Hansen also said during Red Zone yesterday, while the Bills-Saints game was side by side with the Chargers-Giants on the screen, the biggest upset of the day could be happening with the Giants up on the Chargers. Chargers minus 6.5 or 7. Bills minus 16.5. Come on, Scotty, he says. Yes, he kept harping on that. He wasn't just this week. He was like, one of the big upsets of the season. Yeah. I'm like, not exactly. Not exactly. Next.
All right, still early window. Cowboys at the Jets.
Cowboys at the Jets. Cowboys and the Packers. We started the show by talking about this with overtime. If you missed it, let's just start. Here's where we'll start. It was 13-0 Packers. 13-0. Mm-hmm. 7-0. Then they scored a second time. It was a Love to Dobbs 1-yard touchdown. It's 13-0. McManus lines up for the extra point. He had made 93 in a row. The longest streak in the NFL. Blocked, returned by Marquise Bell for 2, all the way to the house. So instead of 14-0, it's 13-2.
Yeah, that's annoying, Gill, but it's okay. I've got the Packers. We're still up. It's all good. No worries.
Keep that in mind.
They're cruising on offense. The Cowboys can't stop anything.
Dallas 2 possessions later from their own 5, down 13-2. They're backed up at their own 5, and all of a sudden they start to matriculate. 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 29. They get it to Pickens for 28. Great catch. 1st and goal at the 1. 2 plays later. Dak in from 2. 13-9 Green Bay with 41 seconds left in the second quarter. And again, as was pointed out in a tweet earlier, the Cowboys just decided to kick the extra point there. 13-9.
Yeah.
So Green Bay gets the ball 1st and 10 at their own 27 with 21 seconds left in the quarter and has become the want and has become the norm in the NFL. They're like, that's plenty of time for us to get in field goal range. Let's try to do something. Well, the reason that you don't sometimes is that bad things can happen. And Love got sacked by James Houston. He fumbles. Houston recovers. Dallas from the 15-yard line, 1st and 10, first play, Dak to Pickens, touchdown. And somehow it is 16-13 Dallas. They score 14 points in 32 seconds.
Yeah.
So from 13-0, the blocked extra point, and then that back-to-back touchdown thing in 32 seconds. And it is 16-14 Dallas.
All it took was 32 seconds, Gill, for me to all of a sudden not like my bets very much anymore.
Pardon me, 16-13 Dallas. So we go to the second half. First time Green Bay gets the ball, and now this is just an offensive fest. Green Bay long drive, Love to craft from 15 out to the doorstep, then a false start. 3 plays later, Jacobs in from 1, 20-16 Green Bay, a little more than halfway through the third quarter. Then Dallas, 12 plays, 80 yards, Dak to Ferguson from 8 out, 23-20 Dallas, closing seconds of the third quarter. Then Green Bay, 65 yards, Love, 25-yard run with a hold tacked on the big chunk. 5 plays later, Jacobs in from 18, 27-23 Green Bay, 11:39 left in regulation. Then Dallas, 14 plays, 77 yards. Javonte in from one, 30-27. Dallas with 4:50 left in the game. What happened to the vaunted Green Bay defense? What's going on? Green Bay from their own 20, they get it to 3rd and 10. The Dallas 15, Love to Dobbs. His third touchdown. 34-30 Green Bay, 1:45 left. Special teams again. Dallas, Kevontae Turpin returns the kickoff, 46 yards. Dallas starts from their own 48. Or own 46, pardon me, with 1:38 left. And in 62 seconds, they go 54 yards. It was way too easy. Way too easy. 4 plays. The fourth, Dak to Pickens from 28 out. Touchdown. 37-34 Dallas with 43 seconds left. Neither team could stop anything. Again, what happened, Green Bay vaunted defense? Green Bay from their own 26 with 35 seconds left, but all 3 timeouts. Love to Jacobs for 25. 28 seconds left in the game. 2 plays later, 9 more to Malik Heath. They get 1 yard. They get 1 yard and a first down the next play. And then on the Dallas 39 with 12 seconds left, Jacobs for 4 more, sets up a 53-yard field goal for McManus to tie it. And I swear, if I took a tape measure, went under the goalpost and bisected the uprights, that's where that ball went.
Yeah. Yep.
It was just perfect. And we are going to overtime. And remember, we discussed the overtime rules early. So this is what the people wanted. People didn't want the first possession to be the determinant. They wanted both teams to get a possession. The NFL ruled on this. So Green Bay wins the toss. Green Bay elects to defer, which again, at the beginning of the game, Green Bay is an outlier. They usually receive. But here in overtime, they want to be the second team. That's the strategy they take. That's the strategy, again, that all announcers say is the strategy to take. Though, again, I am going to sit here and be objective about it and say, I don't know that Kyle Shanahan in that Super Bowl was wrong, if you heard what I was talking about earlier. There is value to taking the ball second for sure because you know what the offense, what your opponent gets, 3 or 7 or 0 or whatever. But there is also value to having the ball third. So it's not black and white. But anyway, Green Bay defers. Dallas from their own 20, 3rd and 5 at their own 36 to Pickens for 22. 2 plays later, Dak flushed out to Tolbert for 34 down to the 5. What a pass by Dak. What a catch by Tolbert. Tiptoeing inside the sideline. It's amazing. Amazing pass and catch. But Dallas forced to settle for an Aubrey 22-yard field goal. Micah tripping up Dak on second on the way in. The big play in the sequence, and he was credited for a sack on that, was Micah. So they settle for the field goal, 40-37 Dallas, 4:40 left in overtime. So Green Bay from their own 20. Remember, field goal ties, touchdown wins. Field goal ties, Dallas still gets the ball back with whatever the balance of the 10 minutes is. Green Bay from their own 20. Aubrey, perfect kick in the landing zone, then into the end zone. He was doing that all night. Special teams for Dallas was great all night. Special teams for Green Bay was terrible all night. 4th and 6, own 24. Remember, they had a 4th down. 4th and 6 of their own 24. They don't get this. The game's over. Love to Golden for 14. Then Emmanuel Lewis for 9. Then 13. And the Pack just lets it bleed down to the 2-minute warning. They were really lollygagging north of the 2-minute warning. They didn't want to leave time in case they got the field goal, right?
Yep.
So then after the 2-minute warning, to Wicks for 15, to Dobbs for 6, Wilson for 7. Green Bay really casual now with 1 timeout. To Wilson for a 3-yard loss. They used their last timeout with 28 seconds left. 28 seconds left. Okay, so they can't stop the clock anymore. They go to Wilson, 1-yard loss, but they have no way to stop the clock, and it just bleeds. And all of a sudden, Tirico and Collinsworth correctly are becoming panicky,
freaking out.
Yeah. You got to leave time for a field goal if you don't get this. And they really were taking their time, way too much time. They admitted after the game. And they go into the end zone, and with 1 second left on the clock, incomplete. 1 second. They wait another beat. They lose the game. Instead, so lucky, McManus, 34-yard field goal good, and 40-40, again, the second highest scoring tie in the history of the National Football League. And by the way, we have the tweet. Did you see this? In the history of the NFL, no team that had scored this many points and had no turnovers. Did you see this tweet earlier? Yeah. Had ever lost a football game. Here it is from Dante Kopp-Flem. Teams with 40-plus points, no turnovers, were 300-0 at home.
I just want to know what they were overall now.
Including the playoffs in the Super Bowl era, they are now 300-0-1. Dallas is taking on the Jets. The Jets play the Dolphins tonight. I will say because of that performance last night, and only because of that performance in a primetime standalone game that everybody watched, Dallas will be a 1.5 favorite, a 1.5 point favorite on the road, sight unseen, subject to change based on what the Jets do tonight.
Yeah, good breakdown. It was opened like 1.5. It's basically 2.5 everywhere now for the Cowboys on the road.
Okay, there it is.
That clock thing at the end. Man, Packers fans, you might be out here screaming about tying that game yesterday. If there's a different clock operator, I could see. I had watched that ending 5 times. I couldn't believe it didn't go to zeros.
You know who did a great job on our air while it was going on? Dustin Sweetelson on Cashing Out. Watching it in real time was pitch perfect talking about the ending of this game.
Dustin's good.
That kid's good. Coming back. Let's find some more value besides the Rams. Come on. Guessing lines. And baseball a little later on as the playoffs begin tomorrow. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
First Bet and VSiN have teamed up with a special offer. Open and deposit into a new First Bet account and get up to $250 sign-up bonus with promo code VSiN250. Then place $100 in wagers within your first 30 days and you'll unlock a full year of VSiN Pro, a $240 value. Already a subscriber? We'll extend your subscription another year. This offer ends Sunday, October 5th, so don't wait. To claim the special offer, use promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. That's promo code VSiN250. I just want to read this tweet. Jason Stark. Packers deserve to lose that game the way LaFleur managed the clock in that final drive. Another quote-unquote genius who can't get simple time management right. And then Big Kahuna chimes in, the kicker for the Cowboys is such a weapon. All other teams starting at the 35, he's pinning teams to the 20. So good. Yes. So Aubrey, not only a great, maybe the greatest field goal kicker of all time. Justin Tucker would have something to say about that, but maybe that. But also so great on the kickoffs where he's able to get it in the landing zone and then bounding it into the end zone. And so the opponent ends up taking it at the 20, what Big Kahuna is saying. But back to what Jason Stark was saying, how they deserve to lose the game the way LaFleur managed the clock. Let me just clarify. The Packers played that as perfectly as they could with the big detail of it just probably should have been 3 or 4 seconds less panicky. So in other words, what they were doing in theory was correct. Like Matt LaFleur knew exactly what the overtime rules were. He knew that the object, if they had to settle for a field goal, was to leave the great Brandon Aubrey as little time as possible, Dallas as little time as possible to get Aubrey into, who knows, right, 65-yard field goal range. So in theory, what they were doing was correct. It was just that in execution, and they admitted this afterwards, they were just way too slow to do it. And it could have been massive egg on their face. They could have lost the ball game. But I'm not sure we can pin this on Matt LaFleur. Sure, it got way hairy, and the Packers are lucky to get the tie in the end. But if you hear what I'm saying, in theory, what they were doing was right. It was just in the execution. So I don't think it was a...
I think the plan was well thought out.
The plan was well thought out.
But like you by the time you called the timeout, you needed to set it up so you had ability to run 2 plays, right? Ideally 2 plays. Mm-hmm. And then kick the field goal with if you had to, if you didn't score, right?
Or even if you didn't get the second play. Just the fact that the clock would have stopped on the incomplete with, say, 4 seconds left, right, and it wouldn't have been that panicky.
Correct. Yeah. It was the execution. And then you're really lucky with the clock because I would have been, this is where I guess you could get on LaFleur. You got to be clocking that ball. When it's taking that long to get that play together and off, you got to clock it to make sure you don't end up losing the game.
And there's some people this morning, I hate ties. There's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of, they should just play the college rules. I'm just like, no, I don't think so. I don't have a problem with ties. I really don't.
Well, me either. We're almost getting to a point where it's like the overtimes are so complicated and everybody has outrage over it every year. I'm like, do we even need overtime? I
think it was kind of cool that you have to add this layer of strategy to it. Mm-hmm. Derek Gwynn, the Saints did typically what they usually do to me. I bet them. I bet for them I lose. Against them I lose. And I was not shocked at the Saints. Again, we're trying to screw me on Survivor. Rhodes knows. Kind of sounds like my Cleveland Guardians life.
It's amazing when a team starts to feel that way, especially like NFL over like a course of a couple seasons. You'd be like, I can't get this team right.
The Guardians are like, you have a 65-1 on us? We'll mess this up on the last out. Oh, you're fading us? Watch this.
It's usually when I bet the Ravens, by the way. If I bet the Ravens, go the other way. They're going to lose.
Rhodes knows. It's only been 4 games, but Liam Cohen seems to get it. T-Law's okay, but to win games we're not supposed to is a new thing. Oh, to win games you're not supposed to is a new thing. They could be 4-0. if Brian Thomas Jr. fixes his issues and T-Law, that's Trevor Lawrence for the cool kids, isn't terrible, they definitely can win the South. Monday Night Football should be a great test. But I will get back to my Jaguars recap. And again, they're 3-1. So they won this game against the Niners despite that. But I listed 5 mental errors for the Jaguars in that game. So I'm just saying for people, and at some point we're going to have to consider the Jaguars in Survivor. And that is going to be...
Oh, boy.
The experience of a lifetime, because they make some errors they should not. No professional team should be making.
Yeah, they sure don't feel like a 3-1 team.
No, they don't. Next.
All right, early window, Broncos at the Eagles. This could be a good one.
There you go. Broncos sight unseen. Broncos hosting the Bengals tonight. You have a play on either of the games tonight?
No, nada.
I do not either, but I have the Bengals on one survivor. Excuse me, the Broncos. Pardon me, in one survivor entry. So it's the 1-2 currently Broncos against the 4-0 Eagles. Eagles yesterday in front of a massive Philly crowd in Tampa Bay. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
The audio in that game, I was like, where are we?
Florida, man. It's going to be the same tonight with the Jets fans in Miami.
Tampa Bay, Riley Dixon, punt blocked, first possession. By Latu, Sidney Brown takes it 36 yards to the house, 7-0 Philly before you could blink. First time Philly gets the ball in offense, 8 plays, 73 yards, Hurts to Goddard from 2 out, 14-0. And then at 14-3, Philly, 6 plays, 67 yards. Hurts to Goddard for 22. Ends with a shovel pass to Goddard from 5 out. The 22-yarder was to begin the drive. 21-3 Eagles. Then it would get to 24-3 with 58 seconds left in the second quarter. Tampa Bay would get it to a McLaughlin 65-yard field goal. Bang. Ties the second longest in NFL history and the new record for the longest outdoor field goal in the history of the National Football League. And I really believe that should be a separate category.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree.
So congratulations to Jake McLaughlin, tied for the second longest in NFL history. Okay, so 24-6 Philly, but you know how this works with Tampa Bay. Second time they get the ball in the second half. One play, Baker to Igbuka for 77, 24-13. 9:51 left third quarter. Then after a Philly 3-and-out, Tampa Bay, second play, 2nd and 5 on 22. Irving hit by Jihad Campbell. Holy war on Bucky Irving. Fumbles. Kelley Ringo recovers. Philadelphia set up at the Tampa 25, 6 plays. Saquon in from 6 on the fake tush push, if you will.
Oh, my God. Wait, 2 comments real quick. I'm still not sure I've seen an angle for that Bucky Irving fumble that I'm convinced either way on, Gill. Like, wrist kind of looked down to me, but okay. And then everybody freaking out about the tush push and want to get rid of it. The Eagles are so living rent-free in your head that the first time they bust out finally the counter on the tush push, everybody looks dumbfounded because you are just so focused on trying to stop this unstoppable play that Philly has mastered. And just the easiest touchdown that he will ever get.
As I've said all along, there is an argument against the tush push. It's just not the one that they're using or the ones that they're using, which is, a lot of injuries. Oh, it's aesthetically unpleasing. Now their latest one is, it's hard to officiate, right? They just came up with that one. No, the only argument against it is, hey, defensive players don't get to push each other. So why is this fair? That's the one they should be using.
Also, do you really think Chase McLaughlin, I hope this lasts for a while. It feels like it will be the random trivia fact that you will never remember who has the longest outdoor field goal.
So it's 31-13 after the Saquon touchdown. Tampa Bay, 84 yards then. Fourth play, Baker to Irving for 72. Mostly yak, 31-20 Philly.
That pass was ridiculous. It was amazing.
Tampa Bay then cuts it to 31-23 on a McLaughlin. Are you ready for this? 58-yarder.
No problem.
That was chip shot.
Hit from 65.
Chip
shot.
Not
even long.
So 31-23, then Philly 3-and-out on a series of dangerous passes by Hurts, like all 3 of which could have been picked. Tampa Bay, after a Cameron Johnston 28-yard punt return, they're set up at the Philly 47. They're down 1 score. 11:48 to go. They get it to 1st and 10 at the Philly 11. And Baker is picked in the end zone by Jihad Campbell. Holy war on Baker.
Who did like a slightly confusing to the eye, toe tap. Was like really wanted to make sure his feet were here, in the end zone.
That was an ill-advised pass for sure. 7:48 left. Another Philly 3-and-out. Tampa Bay got the ball back again from their own 22. They got a 4th and 1 conversion at their own 31, but then eventually 4th and 9 at the Philly 37. Baker to Otten for only 1 yard. And then Philly would get the old Braden Mann 34-yard lost safety to close it in the back of the end zone to run out the clock. 31-25 Eagles. They're 4-0. But here's the deal. They got outgained 376 to 200. Hurts 130 yards passing. But who cares? The object is to win the game. We play to win the game. Jalen Hurts, winning streak 18 in a row when he starts and finishes the game. Remember, the loss against Washington last year, Kenny Pickett had to come into that game. Now, Washington had 5 turnovers. People gloss over that little detail, but you get the idea. Hurts, 18 in a row.
Did you say he didn't have a completion in the second half?
Did not have a completion in the second half. That was the last detail. Still win. They find a way. So Philly against Denver sight unseen at Philly. I mean, again, they're 4-0, but there's a lot not to like about the offense. I'm going to be low on this. I said Philly minus 4.5. I don't know what I was thinking.
You're pretty much right on it.
Really?
4.5 looks like we've gone.
Isn't that interesting? Like, I look at my guess this morning, I'm like, this is off. But it's correct?
Yeah. 4.5 to 5.5 out there right now?
Because it's the Philly offense against the Denver defense, which, by the way, the Denver defense hasn't been nearly as good as people have made it out to be heading into the season. But we'll see them tonight. This could change based on Denver's performance tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm not running to bet anything. And I know we got the Fiery Eagles tweet earlier. It's not anti-Eagles, but it's kind of what you said about the one possession wins. There's a lot of problems on this offense right now. I will be looking, I think, to bet against the Eagles here in upcoming weeks.
All right, we got more games to get to, a whole bunch, though there are buys finally in Week 5, so it's not as many as we think. Plus, we'll talk baseball with Adam Burke. More NFL Week 5. It's a numbers game right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, man, this is huge. Profit X. You know I use Profit X every time I go back to Cali?
Yep.
They just dropped their commissions from 3% to 1%. Whoa. Keeping more of your winnings in your pocket. It's peer-to-peer prediction market with competitive pricing, thousands of markets, yes/no touchdown scores, request your own odds, and improved live betting available in 40-plus states, lower commissions, deep markets, and a smoother live experience. See what a 1% commission can do for your bankroll. Download Profit X today. Use code VSiN to get up to $200 in profit cash in your first month. Terms apply. Got to be 21 or older. See app for details. I am pumped about that. 1% commission. We get tweets of beating the book. Y'all continue to be the best. I love it because y'all fill in the blanks. Sometimes you remind me of stuff I meant to say and I don't. Or you check me on some stuff. Or you add Poke Therapy. Just wanted to send out another weekly PSA. Do not bet on the Titans. They're the worst football team to ever play. I would bet the 0-16 Lions would beat the team by 10-plus points.
Wow.
This coaching staff and the players on the field are so underqualified. Oh, dude, we'll get to the Titans.
Cam Ward getting angry post-game. That was interesting to see from a rook. But
keeping it a buck, we played like booty. Jason Stark, hey, Gill, I grabbed some 10-1 on Garrett Crochet ALSI a week or so ago when we talked about it. Do you have the final Tom Tango ranking? Thanks. Final Tom Tango ranking. Garrett Crochet is your Cy Younger by 0.4 points.
Wow.
He's picked 32 out of the last 38 correctly. Crochet would be his AL by 0.4 points. There's your answer. CW Blue Jay. Years ago, the NFL reduced overtime from 15 minutes to 10 for, quote, player safety, which is laughable. The fairest would be play the full 10-minute overtime regardless. That means one team could score 3 times conceivably, play the entire overtime period regardless of scoring. D-Gen Southern Gent. Gill, your description of the Rams as being demonstrably better than the 49ers was the most effective and appropriate use of an LY adverb I've heard on a numbers game since Lombardi's infamous violent disagreement with you years ago. And I agree on the Rams. Oh, man. It's so funny. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Lombardi was he said he violently disagreed with me on the nature of the wins in that game in Buffalo. And I quipped back to him. I go, oh, violently? Really? Xavier 82, Jacob. He's got it all figured out in North Carolina, though. Don't worry. Xavier 82, lessons learned from last night's insane Sunday night football game, Packers versus Cowboys. Just bet the over on all Dallas primetime games. I have the next 3 set as alerts for those weeks. Well, Kelley called the Cowboys as an old over team before the season.
Jacob, I thought we were friends, man. I've been screaming this every week. Primetime games, who cares? Every week.
Is your mic on when this show is going on?
Maybe sometimes.
Okay. And real Knicks, maybe you can share this with Adam and get his thoughts, but as a very long-suffering Cleveland baseball fan, I know how this miraculous story ends. Skubal throws a one-hitter with 10 Ks tomorrow, and Detroit wins 11-0 on Wednesday. Oh, the agony. And let me just tell you this. At this point, after the damage this team has done to me, both in heartache and then actual damage, I'm actually hoping for the Guardians to go far, except for the fact that I have Detroit in a World Series matchup, so never mind. I hope you do. I hope that does happen. And then John Balduzzi wants everybody to know for hockey, DraftKings is doing October points leader for the NHL. They do monthly points leaders.
Yeah, we've gotten a few tweets about that, actually.
No.
I do not think it's going to be something that me and Gill will be on top of.
No. Next.
Maybe I can convince Jake on, but even that I doubt. Yeah.
Even that is a maybe. Yeah.
All right, Sunday, still the early window, Dolphins at Panthers.
Oh, again, the hits,
your popcorn.
The hits just keep on coming for week 5. Dolphins play the Jets tonight. They're 0-3. Panthers fall to 1-3. There's not much to say about this Panthers-Patriots game. I'll keep it brief. It was 6-0 Carolina. They doinked the extra point, and that was kind of their high point of the game, right before that extra point. Because then it was Sam Martin returning a Carolina punt. Sam Martin punt returned by Marcus Jones, I should say, 88 yards to the house, 7-6 New England. Next time New England got the ball, they made it 14-6. Then Fitzgerald was short and wide on a 55-yard field goal try. Then the next time New England got the ball, made a Diggs for 33. Eventually, Trevion in from 5, 21-6. Next time they got the ball, Marcus Jones went 61 yards on the punt return. Then it became 28-6. It was just a blowout. It ended up being, there's nothing else to say. It was 40, at the worst, it was 42-6. And then Carolina put in the red rifle, Andy Dalton, for a long garbage drive, 91 yards. Final score 42-13. Bryce Young, first 5 quarters of the season, 5 turnovers, none since. They still suck. Miami at Carolina. I said Carolina -1.5.
I don't know if I've been more confused about a team's last couple of weeks than the Carolina Panthers and what it's done to other teams. We are Dolphins 1.5. Some places pick them on this game, hanging around that number.
Sure. Subject to tonight's game.
Unlike Saints and Giants, I'm not running to try to sneak this one into a teaser.
No, that's right. Next.
All right, next up, Titans at Cardinals. Nope, Texans at Ravens. It's the last early window game, sorry.
Texans at Ravens, last early window game. Well, this is, wow. What would you have given the odds on both of these teams being 1-3 heading into this game?
Oh, I'm shocked.
Presumptive AFC South leader by most, though not all. And then the Ravens, I'll raise my hand, presumptive best team in football.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick on the Texans win, for those of us who had the Texans in Survivor yesterday, it was 6-0 in the first half, and the only real highlight, first of all, Joey Sly missed 2 field goals. And the other big highlight in the first half of this game was Jeffrey Simmons sacked C.J. Stroud on one play in 2.09 seconds. He crossed the line in 0.32 seconds.
That seems fast, Gil.
It's the quickest sack in years per next gen sack. Anyway, 6-0 Houston at the half. So it was still kind of sweaty for Survivor players. But then, and Fairbairn then missed a 54-yarder early second half, and you're like, oh my God, like they've got a short field, Tennessee does, and it's only a 1-score game. Is this going to end up being a sweat? And then Tennessee, 3rd and 12 at the Houston 45. Here's where you knew you were going to win this if you had Houston. 3rd and 12 at the Houston 45 for the Titans. And they call a running play. And it's like a 1 or 2 yard pickup. I can't remember what it was. And then they punt. And you're just like, are they trying to stink?
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching? And then the game changed when Houston had a 2nd and 33 at their own 18. Still up only 6-0. Stroud to Collins for 37. 7 plays later to Marks. Woody Marks was all over the place yesterday from 12 out. 12-0 Houston, early seconds of the fourth quarter. And from there, Ward threw a pick off a deflection. Derek Stingley Jr., short field. Houston at the Tennessee 44. Stroud to Jaden Higgins from 24 out, 19-0. Next time Tennessee got the ball, 4th and 1 at their own 31. Ward incomplete, intended for Io Manor. Houston set up at the Tennessee 31. Eventually, 3rd and 17 at the Tennessee 38. Stroud to Marks for 20. Next play, Marks in from 18, 26-0. And you know the rest. That's the final. So you're right. Tennessee does stink.
If you're a long-term Houston backer, I think one of the few positives so far this season is Marks taking over, getting more carries yesterday because Nick Chubb is just washed, man.
Yeah, but we're getting to Houston at Baltimore here. I think this is the perfect team for Baltimore to play, to get off the schneid here. Baltimore loses to the Chiefs and lose dramatically. Baltimore led this 7-0 against the Chiefs yesterday. 9 plays, 70 yards. Lamar to Justice Hill from 11 out, 7-0 Baltimore. And Tony Romo then says out loud, quote, as long as they don't stop themselves. Well, Tony, they were about to stop themselves a lot. Yeah. Theirselves were going to be stopped a lot. Kansas City goes down the field, makes it 7-3. Then it gets a pick by Leo Chenal. It's 7-6. They have to settle for a couple field goals. So it's still a competitive game. And then next time they get the ball after a Baltimore punt, KC from their own 44, Xavier Worthy for 35 to start. 4 plays later, Mahomes to Juju from 4 out, 13-7 Chiefs. Oh, does Xavier Worthy matter? Baltimore, 4th and 1 at their own 41. They decide to go for it. Lamar under pressure, just throws it deep out of bounds. No chance. This is the first time, Kelley and I were talking about this off air. First time I ever watched Lamar, and I'm like, wow, he did lose a step.
Dude.
But we find out that it's his hamstring.
We think.
KC, next time they get the ball, 6 plays after that 4th turnover on downs, the 4th down incompletion, 6 plays, Mahomes to Pacheco from 8 out, the youngest at 250 touchdown passes, Patrick Mahomes, 20-7 Kansas City. Then late second quarter, Baltimore 3rd and 1 at their own 44, Lamar fumbles, Drew Tranquill recovers, Kansas City set up at the Baltimore 47 with 1:20 left in the half, forced to settle for a Butker 56-yard field goal try, wide left, no good, and then Baltimore does get it in to field goal range, loop 43-yard field goal dead center. So it was 20-10 Kansas City at the half. But then the first drive of the second half, Kansas City just goes 65 yards like nobody's business. Mahomes to Worthy for 28, the big chunk, to Thornton from 11 out, 27-10. Then at 27-13, that would be the last we'd see of Lamar. The hamstring was too much on the next possession, and that was it. It would be a final score. It would get all the way to 37-13, and then Baltimore got the garbage touchdown, a 71-yard touchdown sprint from Justice Hill. Final score 37-20. Just a complete blowout. And Baltimore, and we'll get to this after the break, has a lot of injuries beyond Lamar to worry about as well. That said, it's Baltimore hosting Houston. I'll say Ravens -7.5, more than 7, I think.
This was 9.5, has reopened at certain shops, 6.5. A lot of shops have not posted because of the Lamar injury.
Reopened below the 7 because of, interesting. I'll still go 7.5. I think Lamar will play. Coming back.
The numbers told the story, they always do. It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 3 of A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. So many ways to take us in. We just appreciate that you picked one of them. Yep. Gill Alexander. That right there is Kelley Bydlon. This is guessing lines for week number 5 in the National Football League, which is the purpose of which is to, and I hope you're playing along because it's supposed to be interactive, trying to find value just with first reactions of lines. And I've only had one play so far. I made the Rams. I made the bet Rams -3.5 earlier, and you said there was some news on this now?
Steaming your way, buddy. 4.5 is where that one's at most places now.
Glad I got it in. We get tweets, by the way, we'll talk baseball with Adam Burke here coming up momentarily as well. We get tweets, Brian Morianen. I think sometimes Kelley gets the Todd Wishnev treatment and Wyatt turns his mic lower so the people cannot hear his brilliance. We're blaming Wyatt now for all of this. Wyatt!
I'm going to guess that our great audio operator, Darnell Glenn, has my mic slightly lower than yours anyways, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I can just shout things sometimes. So it's...
I notice it every day. Shooter McGamlin running right up the middle on 3rd and long like Tennessee did as a de facto punt. Teams across the league do this, and it needs to be brought up. Well, thank you. I just did. And Fred Leonard's going back to the 3rd quarter of week 2. Listen to this. He's right about this. The Panthers, remember, they were down 24-3, I believe it was, against the Cardinals, or was it 27-3 against the Cardinals? And they scored the last set of points in that game. I think the last 16 points in that game. Don't hold me to the score. But they scored the last 16 in that. No. The last 19 in that game. Then they blew out the Falcons 30-0. And then they scored the first 6 yesterday. So it's 55-0. And Fred Leonard's going back to the third quarter of week 2. Panthers outscored their opponents 55-0 as of their first touchdown yesterday. Then they promptly gave up an easy 42 in a row.
It's wild. We were talking about this off air. It's a great tweet, and it's a great example of why, like, every year there's a few teams at this point in the season, Gill, where I'm just arms up. I have no idea about these teams. These past couple games that the Panthers have been involved in, not only do I have so many questions about that team, but it's then every opponent that they've played.
Yeah. Back to the Ravens for a second. Not only does Lamar have the hamstring injury now, defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike was out on that game. Nate Wiggins got hurt. They're starting cornerback. They also lost Marlon Humphrey. Left tackle Ronnie Stanley and linebacker Roquan Smith hurt.
This is already,
decimated by injuries by the end of their loss yesterday to the Chiefs.
And already one of the statistically worst defenses in the NFL.
God bless. They were number 2 in my power rankings, and it's like, I still think they're good, but if you have all those injuries.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It is. I think of all the teams we've talked about, they are the most shocking because we brought it up last week. The defensive concerns were already an issue last week. You go into Kansas City. Kansas City looks like, world beaters all of a sudden, right? And then now you have questions about Lamar. Like, that is serious issues.
Through 4 weeks of the NFL season, they're absolutely the biggest surprise going. And I'll just say this. I know our buddy Will Hill, he was texting, he bet the Ravens to miss the playoffs. I want to get his number right. He bet the Ravens to miss the playoffs at plus 350. Because you know how I talk about teams that have already banked wins? Well, they've already banked the losses.
Right.
So there you go.
And that's where, whoever was tweeting us about the Eagles earlier, right? That's where you got to be happy at least you got the W still for the Eagles.
Yes. It's all that matters in the end.
All right, let's 4:05 Eastern, Titans at Cardinals.
All right, we'll get to a bunch of these late window games. Tennessee at Arizona. In defeat, Cam Ward, 10 of 26 for 108. The Titans had a grand total of 175 total yards. They were 2 of 11 on third downs. Those 175 yards came on 46 plays, an average of 3.8 yards per play. Once again, Cam Ward, quote, "If we kept it a buck right now, we ass." I love that. It's the greatest quote of the week. He went on to say other things and cursed, but I'll leave it at that. Arizona losing to Seattle, remember, on Thursday Night Football, even though they made it ridiculously close at the end when they shouldn't have been. That game should not have been close. Kyler Murray was 27 of 41 for 200. He was sacked 6 times. And they were outgained by Seattle 384 to 253. I will say Arizona, and I do believe this will be part of my Survivor stuff, which we'll get into our Survivor segment tomorrow. Arizona by 7, I'll say, because Tennessee is out absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, that one feels more right. This is 9.5.
Ooh. The market thinks they're more dreadful than I do.
Yeah. Wait, the problem is with the Cardinals, I don't know. This one I could answer it already, Gil. I'm staying away from this one completely.
Yeah.
This is the game I want nothing to do with.
Yeah. Though I think I might have to have a Survivor on it.
No, I completely understand that. Yeah.
At least one entry. Next.
All right. We are 4:25 Eastern, Lions at Bengals. No, I missed one. Bucks at Seahawks.
Bucks at Seahawks. 2 3-1s playing each other. It was a good game. Seattle on the extra rest. Again, they win on Thursday night against Arizona. Darnold was 18 of 26 for 242 in that game. Tampa Bay yesterday losing to the Eagles, but Baker was great. 22 of 40 for 289, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Bucky Irving, 15 for 63 on the ground with a fumble lost, 5 catches for 102 and a touch. Egbuka, 4 for 101 and a touch. And they outgained Philly, as I said, 376 to 200, but -2 in turnovers. I got him. This is an interesting line to make. I said Seattle -1.5. I split the difference between a pick 'em and 3. I had to give Tampa Bay a little respect here.
This is another one on the move. 2.5 is where it opened at most places yesterday. I laid the 2.5 yesterday with the Seahawks. We're out to 3.5 at places now.
Wow.
This one's on the move this morning.
I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, if we get to 3 and a hook, I'll be a little surprised. I thought we'd move to 3 pretty quickly this morning.
I thought I was giving Tampa Bay their just due. Next.
Yeah, they still got some injuries and stuff they're dealing with, right? All right, Sunday, 4:25 Eastern, Lions at Bengals.
The extra rest matters, though.
Yes.
Lions at Bengals. Bengals play tonight again against the Broncos. Detroit yesterday in victory over the Brownies. Goff, 16 for 27 for 168. It was the other guys that filled up the box score. Gibbs, 15 for 91 and a touch. St. Brown, 7 for 70 and 2 touchdowns. They were +2 in turnovers. Detroit -7 on the road. Sight unseen on the Bengals tonight.
You're a little low on this one. Detroit, anywhere between 8 and 9 right now out there. 8.5 at DraftKings.
Can we find some value somewhere besides the Rams?
Yeah,
Next.
that might be a teaser leg for me this week. Actually, it already is. What can I say?
Next.
Sorry about that one. 4:25 Eastern, Commanders at Chargers.
Sorry, didn't mean to talk over you. Washington falls to 2-2. Oh, we haven't done this game yet. I think it's the last game we haven't done. Washington falls to 2-2 yesterday against Atlanta. Marcus Mariota in his second start for Washington. Jaden Daniels, it looks like, will play in this game against the Chargers this coming weekend. That's the word. It was 10-0 Atlanta after the first quarter, and then Washington second play, 48-yard Chris Rodriguez run to the end of the quarter. 4 plays later, 4th and 1 at the Atlanta 10. Mariota to Debo for 4. Great hands grab. 2 plays later, Mariota to Luke McCaffrey from 5 out, 10-7. And this is how this game would go from this point forward. It always looked like Atlanta was going to run away with it, and then Washington would respond, but never really threaten. So 10-7 Atlanta. Next drive, second play, Penix to London for 43. 3 plays later, Bydlon in from 14. Great run, touchdown, 17-7 Atlanta. It'll be 17-10. And then second half, 17-13. Atlanta, 2 plays, 76 yards. Penix to Bydlon for 69. Penix Jr. to Pitts Sr. from 7 out. Got to get those right. Penix Jr. to Pitts Sr. from 7 out. 24-13 Atlanta. Then Washington, 1st and 10 to Atlanta 38. Mariota picked deep by Xavier Watts. Atlanta 1st and 10 their own 36. Penix underthrows pass picked by Mike Sanistrill. So then it's 24-16. Again, every time Washington got within one score. Atlanta, 7 plays, 72 yards. Algier in from 15, 31-16. Late seconds of the third quarter, Washington responds. 76 yards. 4th and 3 at the Atlanta 24. Mariota to Debo, fade route, touchdown. Beautiful play design on the 2-point conversion. Mariota to Ertz, and it's 31-24 Atlanta. 8:48 left. Parker Romo, short field goal, 34-24. And then Washington, even though they didn't have a chance to win this, they did something interesting. With no timeouts left, they're down 10, right? 2 scores, helped by a PI. They decided, let's quickly kick the field goal, and they did so. They kicked the Matt Gay 42-yard field goal with 1:33 left to cut it to 34-27, and the onside kick failed anyway. But what they were trying to do is they knew they had to get the ball twice. So we're in field goal range. Why bother the rest of the way? Let's just kick it. Atlanta outgained Washington 435-294. Mariota threw for 156 yards. This is Washington at the Chargers. We already talked about the Chargers losing to the Giants. I didn't know what else to make this. I just made it Chargers a pat -3, hosting Jaden Daniels, it looks like, in Washington.
Yeah, you're right around there. 2.75. We'll go with that. 2.5s on the board that you got to lay a price with, and then some cheap 3s.
Well, so we talked about the, all those injuries to the Ravens. The Chargers, we mentioned Joe Alt, who a lot of us cashed in when the Chargers picked him, not in this past draft, but the one before. He had the ankle injury. He had to leave yesterday. Remember on the offensive line, Rashawn Slater, right?
Yep.
Already sustained the season-ending leg injury during the summer. And then Mekhi Becton missed the game yesterday with a concussion. So a lot of this is going to be based on will Alt play, will Becton play? Because if, let's say, both of those guys aren't going, that line's going to move towards Washington, I would think. Because Washington's defense is suspect. But if they can get all the help they can get via injury to the Chargers offensive line, that'll move. On the other hand, if those two guys do play, I wouldn't be surprised if this came off the 3.
Yeah,
the other way.
Me either. It's look, Commanders looked okay so far, but still, they're very much an unknown to me just because Jaden Daniels, right, being out, you don't really know exactly where they belong.
Here's how I put it with my buddies, my DC buddies yesterday. It feels like Washington's season. We talk about Survivor begins week 5 now. It feels like Washington's season begins week 5.
I agree with
like
that.
It was just this 4-week weird thing where Jaden didn't play in half of them, and they're 2-2, and it's like, okay, now the season starts.
Yep.
That's what it feels like.
No, I agree, and you might be able to run into the Chargers at the right time, right? Cluster injuries on the line.
Yep. We still have primetime games to get to.
Yep,
we got rid of all the other games?
Yep.
All right.
Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now, imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
This episode is brought to you by Huggies Little Movers. It's fun having a baby that loves to move, but it can be challenging to find a diaper that can keep up with them. Huggies Little Movers is designed to move with your baby. With either the double grip strips or the new Hug Fit 360-degree waistband, you can be confident relying on Huggies Little Movers for your active little ones. Huggies Little Movers, made with double grip strips or the new Hug Fit 360-degree waistband, so your little double can keep moving like you. Huggies, we got you, baby.
We have a couple primetime games to get to. Back to Week 5 guessing lines.
I do the same thing with the NBA. They're fun to plan those out, those postseason bets. All right, Sunday Night Football, Patriots at the Bills.
Patriots at the Bills. This is why I saved a couple on the Bills here for Survivor. Patriots, we talked about, they crushed the Panthers. And really, it was the punt returns, right, that really changed the game. Derek May was 14 of 17 for 203. 14 of 17 for 203, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 carries for 11 yards. He scored on the ground as well. Stephon Diggs showing up, 6 catches for 101. And then Buffalo in that hairy win for Survivors over New Orleans. They end up winning by 12 in the end. Josh Allen, 16 for 22 for 209, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 7 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. James Cook, 22 for 117 and a touch. I'll say Buffalo -7 and a hook.
That is right. 8.5.
8.5.
This game's been going back and forth a bit here. Teaser leg for me on the Bills.
Teaser leg.
Prove it to me, Patriots.
Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles, the only 2 undefeated teams in football now.
Yeah, and the Bills, the only team that feels like they should be there, but a lot of that, because of the easier schedule they've played.
Do you believe the Bills play the Eagles in the Super Bowl? The only 2 4-0 teams.
There is no way at this point in the season I can answer that question. No, I don't.
Okay, that would be my answer.
Either one of them could not make it. Wouldn't surprise me.
The safe answer is no, I don't. Yeah.
Monday Night Football, Chiefs at the Jaguars. This would be a fun one.
2-2 Chiefs, 3-1 Jaguars. Or Jaguar.
Duval.
Stop. Brain dead. How many mental errors does this team make? Have I brought that up yet today on the show? Mahomes, 25 of 37 for 270, 4 touchdowns, no picks against the Ravens. Xavier Worthy, 2 carries for 38, 5 catches for 83. Chiefs were +2 in turnovers. And Jacksonville, in their win over the Niners yesterday, Trevor, 21 of 31 for 174. Etienne, 19 carries for 124 and a touch. Outgained 389 to 325. But +4 in turnovers. That's been the key to the Jaguar season, man. They're after not generating turnovers last year, they've been a turnover machine here early. +4 in turnovers, and they kind of barely won that game. Again, just mental errors. I will say, Kansas City is back to, I think our feeling about Kansas City has very quickly gone back to this team that won 9, maybe not completely, but by
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, but I think most of the way, at least more than half the way back, 9 straight NFC West titles. They'll be a favorite on the road here. They got to be, right? Got to be more than 3. I said -4.
3 on the Chiefs.
Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs. There's my other one. Betting that right now, too.
There you go. Go back to your other bet of the morning. This is per Shanahan coming out with players that will be reevaluated later today. Brock Purdy with toe soreness. Ricky Pearsall with a knee. Juwan Jennings with ribs. Injuries, by the way, before anybody. They got a knee.
He's got ribs.
Juwan Jennings has ribs. And they play on Thursday. So the books have been constantly moving this game. I just saw a couple take it off the board, come off of that, and then reposted 4.5.
How much for a rib? Just one rib. I took the Chiefs. So I took so summing it up, and we'll recap all the bets coming up next segment here for everybody. But I'm on the Rams -3.5. I'm on the Chiefs -3. So I'm on the Rams -3.5. These are my 2 guessing lines reaction bets. -3.5 hosting the Niners. it already 2 hours plus, 2.5 hours after we talked about that bet, it is now minus 4.5 on the Rams. So good instinct on that one. That's the Thursday night game. And then you just talked about the injuries, right?
Yeah.
And then Monday night, I just bet the Chiefs minus 3 on the road against Jacksonville. I think that should be more than 3. So those are the two. Everything in between, I didn't love enough to race to bet it. And obviously, I made a baseball bet too, which we'll recap here as well. You?
Only a couple for me. I bet the Seahawks yesterday at 2.5, and then one teaser in the account. Lions and Bills. That's it, man. Gonna be a lighter week. I probably need it though after the past couple weeks.
Seahawks is based on Buccaneers injuries primarily.
Yeah, the extra rest, travel, all that stuff too.
Yeah, you're usually Team Bucks.
I like the Bucks.
That's a Kelley Bydlon kind of team right there.
Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee, and right now you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.